So, big day for Nicolas Sarkozy and his rival François Hollande yesterday, Thursday. Tell us how the French press have been reacting.
Well, Le Parisien is calling it a duel from a distance. Both Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande held big rallies. Nicolas Sarkozy in Lille, François Hollande in Le Mans, so in the center of France. And Le Parisien has a really funny article on the whole thing. They're calling it they're doing a report of the match between the two, setting the two rallies against each other, comparing on a whole line of criteria, including the atmosphere, who the guest stars were, how many journalists there were. So it's this really kind of funny match between the two, with a lot of funny details. For instance, according to this article in Le Parisien, Nicolas Sarkozy took the train to go to Lille. He of course traveled first class, but it was also the first time he took the train since he's been president. So the first time, for the president, according to him, it was because of security reasons. And this, of course, complicated things, made the train 20 minutes late. In Lille, the SNCF said that the train was late because of a bomb threat, not because of the president. According to the article, both of them were very pleased with their performances.
Okay, now also in the French press, a debate that took place last night between the far-right candidate Marine Le Pen for the Front National and the far-left candidate Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yes, Le Front National versus Le Front de Gauche. Le Figaro is calling it Le Clash. Now, this debate happened even though Marine Le Pen had been seriously dragging her feet. Just a few days before, she said that she categorically refused to debate Mélenchon because she claimed that he had called her crazy, half-demented, a barbarian, a fascist, and just plain stupid. Now, these are her words. I'm not saying
supposedly her words, indeed.
But a lot of the French press is actually calling this a fake debate, a pseudo debate, because halfway through, Marine Le Pen just stopped answering any of Mélenchon's questions, and in fact, at one point, she just started reading the newspaper. But the atmosphere was very tense. There was exchanging harsh words and thinly veiled insults. Marine Le Pen, for instance, called Mélenchon a public insulter. Mélenchon called her just a plain hypocrite. Now, there was no real exchange, and according to Le Parisien, there was no clear winner. Les Échos, meanwhile, the business paper, in their editorial, they say that Mélenchon was the winner, and that Marine Le Pen actually gave him a gift by refusing to debate him. Basically, she gave him ammo to woo working-class voters with. And Les Échos points out that Mélenchon has had a very clever strategy so far with his steady groundwork and this kind of consistent anti-Le Pen strategy. He's really gaining ground in the polls, and according to Les Échos, he's the candidate that we should be following right now.
Well, moving on to another story, the French press focusing a lot on events in Senegal at the moment, as we've mentioned in the news bulletin. A presidential election due to be held there this Sunday, but things are very tense in Dakar.
Very tense indeed, and there's an interesting article in Le Parisien which describes this tense mood where 85-year-old incumbent President Abdoulaye Wade is trying to be elected in a third term. Now, according to Le Parisien, he says that he hopes to win in the very first round on Sunday. He says that, according to this article, he'd be disappointed if he didn't get 55% of the vote. Le Parisien wonders if he's just being plain provocative because all his opponents say that he's being unconstitutional. And there's another interesting report in Le Figaro, which takes a look at this movement that's growing in Senegal called the Y'en a marre, the We're Fed Up movement. I guess you could call them the Senegalese indignados. These are people who are often unemployed. 50% of Senegalese people don't have a steady job. They have a hard time putting food on the table. But as of yet, they're not affiliated to any candidate, so it's unclear how they could affect the election.
Okay, and finally, big weekend for cinema and for France, the César tonight, the French Academy Awards, and it has been a big year for French cinema.
It's a big year for French cinema. It's on the cover of Libération. Cinéma français, le succès est déclaré, declaration of success. Now, that's, of course, a play on words of a declaration of war, which is a very successful film by French filmmaker Valérie Donzelli. So it's been a big year for French cinema. We've seen the declaration of war, the artist, of course, as well as a lot of other films. The César are tonight, and the Academy Awards are on Sunday. The artist is up for 10 Oscars, so the French press is really buzzing about the artist and, of course, Jean Dujardin, the actor.
Okay, well, we'll be all on tenterhooks to see how they do. Thanks very much indeed, Florence, for that look at today's French newspapers.